I've heard you before refer to these kind of closed models like OpenAI and Anthropic as like the Formula One cars of the space. And, I think, you've obviously been at the forefront of leading some of the open source efforts to kind of come up with foundation model efforts, right? Like Big Science is Bloom. And, one thing that seems to be happening is it seems like some of these players like OpenAI and Anthropic are going to just throw more and more money at compute, right? For like the cutting edge model. And I wonder how you think about like one, the limits of what the open source community can fund on just the pure compute side, and then two, kind of the implications of that for when are these Formula One models going to make the most sense versus like the open source alternatives.
Yeah, the reason why I compare these like very large models to Formula One is because they're good marketing, right? The same way Formula One cars are really good marketing. They are very impressive, right? Like the same way Formula car is really impressive. But the truth is, for most people out there, they don't need a Formula One car to go to work. They need kind of like a good normal car that is not going to cost millions of dollars, not only to build, but also to run and to drive. And that's what we're seeing, probably kind of like these large proprietary models are going to be useful for some use cases. Let's say you're Google, and you want like a very generalist model to be able to answer everything. That's great to have a model like that, right? But the truth is, if you want search to work on your website, you actually want a model that is like much smaller, much faster, usually more accurate if you specialize it on your own data, and just cheaper to run, right? You don't want it to cost 10 cents for every prediction that it makes. So if you look on the Hugging Face platform, what's interesting is that even if we have models from, a few million parameters, which is considered small in today's world, up to 180 billion parameters, right? On the platform, we host like the largest language models out there, like you mentioned, Bloom or others. Actually, most of the usage today is for models from 500 million to 10 billion parameters. And it's just because, they're faster, cheaper to run, usually more accurate if you train them on your data. So again, I think it's a matter of like use cases. You'll want to use one sort of model for some use cases, others for other kind of use cases, and they solve kind of like different problems, I would say.
Yeah, and I can't see most organizations in the world wanting the everything model, particularly with the complexities that come with those types of models at some point, particularly like these large enterprises saying like, hey, we don't actually know the output of some of the questions that might be asked to this. And so we want to get more specific, and we want to like kind of constrain some of those. And just like with, just code in general, but like models specifically here, a bunch of different modalities are going to emerge and adapt. And, they're going to, like you said, the Formula One car to the sedan to the minivan and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be a bunch of different things that exist in the world that look like this.